So the progressives in Washington are holding steady with their position on the infrastructure bill. The Senate, more progressive members, or not say progressive members, but people that support the $3.5 trillion infrastructure deal in the Senate, there's 11 of them have come forward to unite with the progressives in the House to really hold their position on this and make their presence known. Take a look at this short clip of Maliek-sama outlining the Progressive Caucus's stand on this, and then I'll talk about it.
How many members are there of the House Democratic Progressive Caucus?
There are 96 members, and over half are absolutely committed to making sure we deliver both bills at the same time.
So 48 Democrats will vote against the House infrastructure bill if it does not come with the budget reconciliation package. Is that right?
More than half of our members will vote for both bills. And this was the deal, Jake, that came out of the Senate when progressive senators passed the bipartisan bill in the Senate. It was on the specific understanding and commitment that both bills would move together. And so now we want to make sure that both bills are moving together, and we're going to hold to that commitment. And so, yes, half our members, more than half our members, will not move the bipartisan bill without the reconciliation bill being passed.
Now, as you just saw there, that was Maliek-sama talking to Jake Tapper. And she just outlined that out of the 96 members in the Progressive Caucus, over half of them is willing to vote for this legislation. She doesn't necessarily expound on withholding their vote for the bipartisan infrastructure bill, and that's something I'll touch on in just a second. But also in conjunction with that, we got new news that 11 senators backed the House progressives in a demand for the passage of the entirety of the Biden agenda, which is essentially everything that's in this $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill. So I want to tell you who are these 11 senators, and as well as the statement that goes along with it. So we have Cory Booker. That's kind of surprising. We have Kirsten Gillibrand. We have Mazie K. Hirono. We have Mr. Ed Markey. We have Jeff Merkley, Alex Padilla, of course, Bernie Sanders, who wrote a lot of this legislation, Brian Schatz, I think is how you say it, Tina Smith, Elizabeth Warren, and Sheldon Whitehouse. They all issued the following statement that I'll read to you right now. In the coming weeks, Congress has the opportunity to pass the most consequential economic legislation since the New Deal. We can create millions of good-paying jobs as we repair our crumbling infrastructure, address the climate crisis, and finally confront the long-neglected crises facing millions of low-income and working-class families across this country. But we can accomplish those goals only if we stick to our original agreement. We voted for the bipartisan infrastructure bill with the clear commitment that the two pieces of the package would move together along a dual track. Abandoning the $3.5 trillion Build Back Better Act and passing the infrastructure bill first would be in violation of that agreement. Congress would not undercut the president's proposals that will create new opportunities for America's families and workers. The House of Representatives should wait to pass the bipartisan infrastructure bill until the budget reconciliation bill, which enacts the rest of the president's Build Back Better agenda, is sent to the president's desk. Now is the time to pass both of these major pieces of legislation. We have no time to waste. We strongly support the Congressional Progressive Caucus and other members of the House who have said that they intend to vote for the bipartisan infrastructure bill only once the Build Back Better Act is passed. This is what we have agreed to. It's what the American people want, and it's the only path forward for this Congress. So very staunch in their approach there. Now, what I want to talk about is their line of attack here, which I kind of like and a little bit surprised by. I don't know if I would necessarily have taken this route, but let's get into it. So when posed with the question, as they are, and as I'll get into in a separate video, they keep, these mainstream media hacks. They keep saying, well, are you saying you're going to refuse to vote for the bipartisan bill if you don't get your partisan bill? In the way Maliek-sama answers it, if you look at it there, she doesn't say yes. She doesn't flat out say, yeah, we're not going to vote for the shit. She just says that we're going to vote for both of the bills. That's what she says. We're going to vote for the budget reconciliation bill, the human infrastructure bill, and the bipartisan bill. But she's de facto positioning herself in agreement with the ideology that, no, we won't vote for the bipartisan infrastructure bill, or that bill won't pass if the $3.5 trillion human infrastructure bill doesn't get passed along with it. And man, they seem to be sticking this out. And the people in the Senate are allying with the people in the House. And I didn't expect that, because the Senate, believe it or not, or this shouldn't be hard to believe, is harder to get through than the House. You know, I feel like the House, like Nancy Pelosi, who is in support of this, I don't know how much support she's in of it. I would imagine that behind the scenes, she's actually trying to talk a lot of this down, but I feel like we're on an unstoppable train at this point. But in the Senate, it's a much tougher route, because there's less individuals, and you have these very corporate individuals outside of just Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema. It's not just them, it's several others. But you have allies in the Senate, they have allies in the House. So this entire thing might just blow up, because we have very corrupt individuals on the more corporate side of the Democrats that are taking money from they're taking a lot of dirty money, a lot of campaign cash, and that's basically affecting their decisions when it comes to this infrastructure bill. But look, man, if this whole thing blows up, it does. And it is what it is. And it's going to suck for the American people. It's going to suck for the people that this would benefit. But they got this. This is the thing. The progressives have to let these idiots in Washington know that they're not to be fucked with. You know, they talk about, mainstream media talks about Joe Manchin like he's some kind of god or deity or something. Oh, they got to get it past Joe Manchin. What is Manchin going to think? What about Kyrsten Sinema? What's her opinion on this? Who gives a fuck? In margins that are so close, like what we have in the House and what we have especially in the Senate, anybody can do what Joe Manchin does. Anybody can do what Kyrsten Sinema does, withhold their vote and say, well, I'm not voting for it until we get this. But they make it seem like it's only those two that have all the power in their hands, and they're these big roadblocks. No, they're nothing. They're nothing. They can be bulldozed over with the right tactics. But let's see how big of a bully they really are, how big of a boss they really are as they position themselves to be. Will they let this entire thing fail? Will they not? It's good to see the progressive coalescing, because at least it seems like they understand how vital of a situation this actually is. Because we always see the moderates coalescing. We always see the moderates getting together to crush progressives. Look how they crushed Bernie Sanders in the 2016 race and in the recent 2020 race. I mean, they cheated the fuck out of them both times around. So finally, we're getting some type of unity and coalescing between the people that actually want to see improvement in this country. But we just got to wait and see where it goes.